Welcome to another episode of Divorce Tips. Today we're talking about my ex wants to move out of the state. What happens to the kids? Oh man, this is a hard subject and something I deal with daily in my career with high litigation divorces. And these are sad and hard because the ideal situation is that two parents can learn to co-parent and that they can be close by so that a child is able to go in and out of both parents' lives frequently and consistently. And when you have one party that wants to move out of the state, it makes it impossible. You can't do it. Joint custody becomes an impossibility. And so therefore one parent is going to get custody of the kid. And I know that this can be a hardship on a lot of fronts because it's either going to be a mom or a dad or a mom and a mom. It's going to be somebody that's losing out on the ability to be a consistent and frequent person in that child's life. And the courts have a hard time with it because even if, they say, well, you're the moving parent, I'm going to keep that child with the parent that's not moving, they are well aware that that child could be losing out on a primary parent or a, significant parent in their life. So as much as it makes it seem like it's so easy to just say, well, just keep the kids with the parent that's not moving, a lot of times it's not that easy. It's tough and somebody's always going to lose. So what are you going to do if that your ex is moving? Well, in every state, I'm sure there's some kind of relocation restriction or statute that's going to kind of come in play, and you need to know what that is. You need to know what your rights are. If you're the non-custodial parent, if you have only sole custody, can they move without your permission? I mean, you need to know your rights, and the first thing you need to do, if your ex has said, I'm moving out of the state and I'm taking the kids, is you need to talk to an attorney because you need to know exactly what you can do to protect yourself to hopefully make it so that those kids don't leave. Or in the worst case scenario, they leave because that's been the primary parent and the court lets them leave. But you need to make sure that you protect your time, and you need to know in writing, when is your time going to be? How are those kids going to get back to your house? How are you going to be able to stay active in their life with them living now far away? And the only way that you can do that is to either have a really great relationship with your ex, which I'm going to guess is not going to be the case if they're moving away from you and you haven't been talking to them about it. So you need to be able to talk to an attorney, and you need to know your rights. In Utah, for you to move, you have to have 60 days notice, and that person that is moving needs to give that notice. They have to put in it a bunch of, statutory things that the courts require. Like they need to say, hey, this is how you're going to get your parent time. But that gives the non-moving parent those 60 days to file something with the court to stop it. And in Utah, it's become frowned upon to move. It really has. And they've been really trying to strive to protect the non-moving parent's right to be a frequent and consistent parent in that child's life. Now, it doesn't happen all the time. There's some really good reasons for moving. There's, things that just cause it to happen. But at the end of the day, the court is really going to look at it, scrutinize it, and decide if it's best for the children. At the end of the day, in Utah, it literally is best interest. It's going to be what is in the best interest of the children. And if it's not moving with that ex, the court's going to keep them here. And they're going to issue reasons for that. In Texas, where I'm licensed, there are relocation restrictions in almost every document, which makes it so you can't move. And if you do, the non-moving party is going to become the custodial parent, and you're going to be the relocation parent. That has less time. So you really want to know your state and your law, and you want to be really thinking about this. And the other thing is, if you're the parent who's thinking of moving and really want to move, you really need to understand why, because it's going to be a fight. If that parent doesn't let you move, you're going to have to fight to be able to move, and you're going to have a really gosh darn reason to move for the court to allow it to happen. So you need to make sure that you sit down, ponder this, make sure you're not just moving to get rid of the ex that you just don't like anymore. Like, you really have to have some good reasons. And you're going to have to put a case together to show to the court why it's best interest for these kids to be able to move with you. And at the end, the goal is hopefully you and your spouse can be communicating together that whatever is happening, you guys are being able to communicate about the reaction of it and how you're going to help your kids with it and the new orders of the court and what you guys are going to do for parent time, and really do it together to support your kids, because then that's going to make this, better for both parties and your kids involved. And that obviously is the end goal, if possible, is when both parents are looking out for the best interests of their children. Till next week, thank you for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed, please subscribe, follow, and share. I'd love to hear your questions and feedback. You can contact me at community@jillcoil.com. See you next time. I am an attorney, but I am not your attorney. Any advice given on the podcast is general and shall not be construed as legal advice.